Let's talk about getting through then, because it did really well in Ireland, went to the #1 spot, and now, as you say, you're looking towards Europe or internationally. So, does it feel like you have to start over in a sense?
Yeah, it does, but it's different, isn't it?
It's because we have the label now. We kind of have the infrastructure to release abroad, which maybe we didn't have before the label, which we did in Ireland kind of on our own bat. And then when we signed to the label, it's kind of pushed us on a bit in the sense that it's you just everything's kind of looked after more, and we can concentrate more on the music. But when it is a sense that we feel we're starting off maybe in smaller venues in England, but there's still a sense of togetherness there. There's a plan and a plot and like a radio schedule and a promo tour, and we're over here in Holland and we're doing it in Germany as well. So there's definitely a kind of a big game plan together, and it seems to be coming together really nicely. But you do realize that a sense if you're starting in smaller venues maybe than what we play back home in Ireland, you know.
But it's actually quite fun as well, because we've had, I suppose we've had the good fortune of being playing as a band for 8 years, so we have our live show down, and we're very comfortable on stage, and it's nice to come into the likes of the UK or the Netherlands here and or Germany, and you're playing in 100, 150 size venues, but you're at home you're used to playing in like 2,000, 3,000 capacity venues. So it's just like, it's very easy to get a reaction from a crowd when you're coming from that to a small venue. So it's fun. Okay. I actually enjoy it.
And then you said because of this infrastructure, there's more time to focus on the music. Has the songwriting changed then in comparison to the previous two records?
Yeah, well, see, with this album actually, we didn't have the record deal when we actually made that album. We made that album ourselves, the third one we licensed it. Right. But we're making our fourth album now at the moment, and already you can feel it's jumped a gear already. Like we're all playing different instruments. I've got taken up the piano and stuff, and the songwriting is evolved even further. And we're going to be recording a new album in January, which should be released this time next year. And we're really, really excited about this one now, because we feel it's up another bar again.
Because Getting Through is now being released in Europe. So does it feel like these are all old songs in a way?
Not really. It feels. I think. See, we really love every song on that album. It's an album we're really proud of, and when you go out and play it live, like even last week we played Nottingham or Bristol and Manchester, which we've never played before, and we played to 3 packed venues, and most people in these venues didn't even know who we are, because it was a festival called the Dot to Dot Festival, and you had a half an hour to play, 6 songs to play. So we played 6 songs from the album. There's 10 tracks on that album, and by the second song we had the crowd singing the words back to us, and that was the same for the third, fourth, fifth and sixth song. So it was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was a real shot in the arm for like just coming over to a place that you don't know much about and then getting that reaction. It's just a real thumbs up, and we're like, nice one. This is which is it's no surprise because it's happened all over the world, but it's still nice to when it happens, Right. But it's it's a great feeling, and I think it's when you're playing songs to new people as well. It's kind of cool. It's a new experience, like a different country, different crowd. So it's kind of like not the same as playing back home. So it's not like we're playing the same songs. Do you know what I mean? To the same people. It's like it all kind of changes and evolves,
Well, that was what I was going to say. Do they evolve for you? Do you change things in the live set? Do you change songs a bit, or do they get different meanings for you?
Oh yeah, like live we always play the songs differently.
Okay.
Just because we bring a bit more dynamics into it to suit the whole live thing, and even for ourselves to keep ourselves. Because if you're just playing the same thing night in, night out, you're going to get bored. Yeah. So we need to keep ourselves entertained as much as possible, and by us doing that, we're going to keep the crowd entertained. So it's I think it's vital that the band are enjoying it as much as the audience are, because if that ever wavers or goes, well then there's a whole loss of connection between the band and the audience.
Yeah, the crowd will sense it, because they sense if you're having a good time and a good energy, and then they send it back up to you, and then you send it back down, and it's just this kind of ping pong thing, and it just gets like bigger and bigger. But
synergy.
Yeah, right. Synergy. But if you're kind of, bollocks, I'm playing this. It's just gonna be like,
Is that something easy to control for you as a band? This synergy with the audience?
Well, like I said, because our lives kind of are like, would be one of our strongest kind of hands to play. We've been playing live together since for the last 8-9 years, so it comes very natural to us to play live and to try and work an audience and to engage in an audience. And if you ever go to one of our live gigs, a lot of our songs are kind of chants, as Mal was saying earlier on. He'd say something on the mic and he'd like an answer and reply, a question and a reply, and it involves the crowd, and they love that. You know, it's great as a crowd if you're up for it, being involved like that. And it's not just one song; it's 4 or 5 songs, so it's you would be involved for a lot of the set. You know, so it's
okay. So well, quickly about the album, because maybe some people in Europe haven't had the chance to listen to it yet. But what was the starting point
for the album?
For that album?
It was actually going to be, the plan was, see, we just released Keep On Keeping On, which is our second album, and we were in Germany. We're actually here. We're in Holland as well in December 2012, just 6 months after releasing the album, and a few of the dates got cancelled that we were supposed to be playing. So we were just outside of Dortmund, a place called Winterberg, and we had 2 weeks until our ship back to Dublin. So we said, we're here, we've got nothing to do for the next 2 weeks. Let's get a house, clear out all the furniture, load in all the equipment, and we had a lot of ideas built up. So we said we'll see if we can write a few songs towards the next album, and we wrote that whole album in 2 weeks in Winterberg. And then we arrived back to Dublin for Christmas, and then we started looking for a producer in January. And we got Ted Hutt involved, who did Gaslight Anthem and Old Crow Medicine Show. And we started doing pre-production in March. The album was recorded in April, mixed and mastered by the end of May. So it was a very quick process, and it came around really quickly and really spontaneously as well, because, as I say, we weren't supposed to record that album until 2013.
What was the mindset of the band in those 2 weeks? What made it click so well?
Well, that's the way we've kind of always done albums. So, well, the first album, What About the Tip Jars, your first is always a collection of songs that, you would have since you got together as a band. But Keep On Keeping On, we wrote that in France in a 4-week period. So we find what's best for us is you'd write songs yourself, and you'd have parts of songs like verses and choruses and melodies. And basically we all come together then and go, I have this song, lads, or I have this song, lads. Jerry go, I have this riff. Jerry go, I have this riff. Gar go, I have this idea for a song. And then we put all the songs out and we go, oh, that one's really good, or that one's really good. And then some of them are finished already, some of them aren't. And then we start fleshing them out, the ones that aren't finished. Or sometimes we could be just jamming together and a song comes out. So that's kind of how songwriting works. And
in terms of the lyrics, I read somewhere that it's basically your perception of the world around you in that period in 2013. Has your perception of things changed since then, in a sense where you have all these songs? Do these meanings change for you over time?
I suppose they do. Like, I mean, when you're writing lyrics, you can only write about your own experiences, because you can't connect with them otherwise. So they have to be, experience that you experience. And I guess sometimes some of the songs you might know at the time. You have an idea what they're about, but then they start making more and more sense to you over time, I do find. But then some of the songs, you know exactly straight away what they are. And some of the songs kind of captivate the mood in the country. And I suppose Ireland kind of went through a rough time there for a few years, and there's a whole kind of void, generation-wise. It's like history repeats itself over and over again with immigration, and our generation, my friends, and they came out of school highly educated and highly qualified, couldn't get a job, so they all had to emigrate to America and Canada and Europe and stuff. And because of that mass amount of youth leaving the country, it leaves a void in the country, and a kind of I suppose a melancholy. It could be quite melancholy as well. So there's a lot of that emotionally, I think, in the songs as well.
Is that something? Oh, sorry. Is that something you revisit when you play them then?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like songs like Glore, when when you're on the stage, you just connect directly, and it brings you, you know, you can build all that anger, or you can build all, you know, that kind of frustration, and you can, you know, project it out there, and the crowd really get that energy. They know what you're singing about is from the heart.
Mm. And do you discuss, when you write these, do you discuss these lyrics? For instance, do you know when he writes a song what it's about?
Well, Mal writes all the lyrics,
Okay.
so, but we kind of, he ask, yeah, better asking him about the lyrics, but
No, but do you discuss them with him?
no, we kind of we write songs together with kind of ideas and licks and, you know, bass parts and drum parts, and Mal would kind of generally look after the lyrics, and it just seems to have been a system that works for us really well, you know. So he'd come down with, someone would come down with a riff and an idea, and we'd flesh it out, or we'd have an old idea and we'd step onto the new idea, and then he'd have sometimes lyrics written, or sometimes they'd come afterwards, like just kind of 20 ways, 30 ways to write a song, you know.
Mm.
But that's kind of seems to have worked for us that kind of way, you know.
Okay. And well, you mentioned that now with the new record, your style of writing has changed a bit. Does this go as well for the lyrics then?
Yeah, because I think with this album, one thing we're getting through the current album.
Mm.
Ted, the producer, really kind of pushed on the lyrics, and he really wanted to dig in more. So, like, as we self-produced the first two albums, so we didn't really have anyone really. As you'd write songs, and you might not delve too deep into your own I suppose psyche, or your own stuff. But Ted really kind of said no, dig in, and so that to me opened up a whole new world on songwriting, and even how songs were shaped. And so, like, as a songwriter, you're always learning. So for this album, the new album coming, well, for Getting Through, there's a lot of alternate drop tunings used, and that was a really it really helped kind of with ideas and with melodies. And this time around, a lot of stuff is coming from the piano, so it's a different thing again. And I think as a songwriter, you need something to, you know, if you're just writing songs on one instrument, it can sometimes feel like you're in a box. But if you can start going into different instruments or different tunings, it opens up a whole new world, I think. And it really helps with songwriting.
And for the music as well, has the music gone through a change for the new songs? Let me first start with, how far along are you with a new album?
I'd say we're halfway there.
Halfway there, yeah.
So there's going to be a lot more fleshing out and stuff, but initially, we always build songs from basically where you can just play them on a guitar, or you can play them on, you know, as stripped back as a guitar. And I think once they're good there, when you start building onto them, it can only get better. So I suppose the main thing with the upcoming stuff is, I think the piano fills out, adds a lot to the sound.
It's really wide, and it's great because it's a different kind of rhythm. We were kind of talking before about gigs and stuff, getting the piano player in or whatever, just to see, like, but when Mal's playing them with maybe a guitar and a the piano's really wide and big, so it's definitely affected the rhythm. It's great, and it's exciting as well. It's a different direction again, you know, a little bit different, and so and like you said, keep it fresh, keep it kind of, you know, up to date or whatever. But I can't wait to record the album, to be honest.
Was there, because you say you're halfway there, was there an idea in mind for when you started working on a new record?
I think we
like with the piano, was that something you thought, well, let's try this? And
but no, but it was kind of something that I wanted to pick up for a few years, and I just eventually bit the bullet there and said, right, I'm getting one. And then I think, though, regardless of the piano or not, I think with our songs, it's always organic. We never go, right, we're going to sound this way or we're going to sound that way. It always just comes naturally, as in, you know it's like following your gut instinct. You know what direction you should go, and usually a lot of our songs kind of come from a melody. It start with a melody, and that melody usually would, I find, if you pick up the guitar and you start, you know, you kind of you start playing and start kind of coming up with a tune, and then you can kind of hear the there's like an emotion in that, and then that's where the melody is, and then I think melody is king. You can build everything around a melody, you know, and then have counter melodies going through it. But I think a melody evokes like a lot of emotion, and if you can put that emotion into words, and the music, you can make the music to portray that emotion. But then you're staying true to the song, I think. If that makes sense.
It does. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
No problem.
Cheers, thank you.